Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a new video. Today is the league rotation. We have all three open leagues today. We have Great League, Ultra League, Master League. Of course, I only have Pokemon for the Great League, to be honest. I have a few Master League Pokemon, but I don't really feel like playing Master League right now. It's kind of RPS. So I wanted to play the Great League, and I wanted to play something I was really comfortable with just because, as you guys may know by the last videos, the last week's rotation was a little bit rough for me. We went down from 2460 elo all the way down to 2180 or something like that. But now we're back, baby. As you can see by the thumbnail, we hit veteran with this team. So if you want to hit veteran, maybe try this team out. It is very safe, still just as disrespected as ever. And with no further to say, let's check it out. We got Shadow Caesar, baby. Let's go. We always have Shadow Caesar. You guys already know. And yeah, let's get right into these battles. My apologies if the battles look a little bit choppy. My editing software was being a little bit tricky with me the other day. But regardless, we are trying Shadow Caesar lead, Blastoise safe swap, and Diggersby in the back just for all those Bastiodons. Make sure we can deal with them. We get Feraligatr lead. We try to catch a Hydro Cannon, but my opponent very smartly keeps overfarming. We even overfarm past the Trailblaze. I mean, onto the Trailblaze, and they still stayed. So very smart by them. Chargeable comes in. We're able to force a shield with the Skull Bash, so I don't feel like I have to shield afterwards. I'll just bring in my Diggersby here. Overfarm severely here because I need a lot of energy to deal with that Gator, right? Remember that Gator has like 8 Shadow Claws, and for some reason my opponent brings Tinkaton here. Very strange play. I'm able to catch a play rough on my Caesar, overfarm to back-to-back Night Slashes, and yeah, just really put in work against this team. I really don't know why they swapped in Tinkaton into my Diggersby. That's definitely a strange play, but yeah, we call the Charge Bug coming in here, so we throw one Bullet Punch and then our Night Slash to make sure we maximize our damage. Gator comes in. They don't throw energy instantly for some reason. I guess they thought we were going to stay with the Caesar. But yeah, we're able to double shield these Hydro Cannons. They're definitely going to do a lot more damage. We have to keep in mind, though, that that Charge Bug in the back still has close to 2 X-Scissors worth of energy. So this is a little bit dangerous. I probably should have overfarmed here just to make sure that I could outpace that Charger. But yeah, they get 1 Volt Switch, and they have the back-to-back X-Scissors here. Can Diggersby survive these 2 X-Scissors? It looks insanely close. I am not sure. Let's see. Okay, we actually do survive on 1 HP, dude. That Volt Switch would definitely knock out, even though we are a Diggersby, and we resist that very heavily. That would have knocked us out. So thankfully, we were able to escape with that win there. On to the next battle, we see a Clodsire lead, and honestly, this isn't too bad, but my opponent instantly swaps. Really weird play. If you didn't know, though, Shadow into Shadow, Caesar, and Primate, you can actually one-shield farm this thing all the way down. And I think that's what just breaks my opponent. They bring in Claude, I bring in Diggersby, and it's just a game over, unfortunately. So yeah, GG to my opponent there. That one was a little bit quick. Runerigus. Okay, this is a really fun Pokemon for sure. I wish I had one for Great League. We do win the cap tie. This thing usually runs Brutal Swing and Rock Tomb. So fighters just completely wreck this guy. But yeah, I'm gonna shield the Brutal Swing, look for a full farm down. They bring in Empoleon, and Empoleon is definitely a tricky Pokemon for my team. I'm gonna try for a catch on Blastoise, and even though Blastoise has a terrible, awful matchup into Empoleon, I really just have to get some damage into this thing. It looks like we can really comfortably survive 2 Droplex from the non-Shadow Empoleon. So if we can get to this Hydro Cannon and just throw it right away here, we should be able to either force a shield or very close to a knockout. Let's see what my opponent wants to do here. Alright, so they just let go of the Empoleon. They bring in their Rune. We don't get to the Water Pulse, I mean the Hydro Cannon, unfortunately, but they instantly throw a Brutal Swing onto our Diggersby, probably expecting us to cap tie them with a Caesar. But at this point, I mean, if they want to Rock Tomb to debuff me, that's totally fine by me. But I can just over farm here so bad. I played the Cacti here just to make sure that they can't swap out after this move, because they should be able to, right? So I want to make sure I get rid of this Runerigas so they don't have a catch opportunity available later in the game, since they still have that Empoleon. And they bring in Togekiss. At this point, I think this game is over. I guess my best play would have been to instantly bring in Shadow Caesar, but I actually stay in and throw these fire punches. Surprisingly though, if you can't tell already what my opponent's misplay was, they actually they actually no shield all my fire punches. It is literally the only neutral damage I have left in this game. I have like almost no energy on Caesar, and they just let all of those fire punches go. So they give me that win con. I don't think we should have won that game, but anyways, okay, this is a fun game. We see Jumpluff on the lead, and this is a tricky lead. I think it's straight 6 for Aerolace now, since it got nerfed. But we throw the Night Slash, we boost, and okay, I mean, you know what we're gonna do now. We're just gonna 2-shield Caesar, go absolutely crazy with this boost, see what we can do. They bring in non-shadow Primeape, and I know I can farm this all the way down, but I want to get my shield back, right? I want to like make sure I'm getting resources with this Caesar before just making my backline have no shields. So I'm able to farm this all the way down. What does my opponent bring? They bring in a Regidrago. And this is really bad for my opponent. I can just go for this Night Slash. I should be able to get a second Night Slash off here. And honestly, I'm a little bit healthy. I'm wondering if I can get a Bullet Punch through. Just knock this thing out, and we can. Our opponent doesn't even see our second or third Pokemon. Caesar just goes absolutely nuts that game. GG's to my opponent there. Okay, we see the perfect lead on the next match. We see, what's that? Not a K9, it's an Alolan Ninetales actually. And they bring in Primeape, but once again, non-shadow Primeape. This matchup gets a little bit tricky, right? I kind of have to go down 2 shields if I want to take this matchup. And it looks like that is what we're going to do. We actually boost again. 2 games back-to-back boosts. My opponent smartly goes for the close combat, but with the boost, we would have knocked out in one anyways. Let's see what they bring in here. They bring in a Ufisk, and honestly, this isn't too bad. I'd rather just stay here, keep alignment, throw a Fire Punch against the Alolan Ninetales, and honestly, Blastoise is going to have a really decent matchup against them anyways. So even if they land a Gleam or whatever they have, we're going to be totally fine. So I'm going to stay in here, fire off the Fire Punch, bring in my Blastoise, and this game should just be like clockwork, right? My opponent is going to land the Gleam, so we'll see how much it does. And honestly, it does a really respectable amount. It's like 65%, right? Yeah, that's a pretty decent amount of damage. But my opponent realizes that they can't get the farm down or anything like that, so they're just going to give up the match there. On to the next lead. We get Altaria lead. I mean, Caesar is just catching everybody by surprise here. Nobody's respecting it. And rightfully so. I mean, there's so many other Pokemon to run. I just wanted to play it a little bit safe, guarantee veteran, and and lo and behold, we guarantee veteran. We should be able to farm this all the way down after this shield here, so my opponent should probably swap out, and they don't. Okay, so they must be ABA weak to Caesar here. They bring in Empoleon once again, and we know this is a little bit of a tricky matchup for my backline, so I'm just going to stay in here, probably force both shields. My opponent will force my own shield. I was trying to over farm there, maybe try for a catch later on. I am going to play to the Cacti if I can. My opponent smartly over farms again, so I'm going to do 1 and swap it to the Stoise. I try, and you see what happened? I was dealing with this all day yesterday. My game would just not let me swap when I wanted to, and it definitely cost me a few plays. Thankfully, we went really positive with this team. I believe we went 12-3 before we tried a different team. So it didn't really matter too much, but it was definitely really frustrating to deal with, honestly. Here my opponent gets to a second Drill Peck. They should be able to outpace to the third before we get our second Hydro, but I'm just going to bring in Diggersby here, and it's Clodsire in the back, and unfortunately, that's just going to be a GG for my opponent. Maybe if they stayed in with the Diggersby, I mean into the Diggersby with the Empoleon, and got off a a Hydro, they would have been fine. Okay, we see Sanjudigo in the next match, and this is what I meant by my thumbnail. We actually see a lot of good trainers in these games, and unfortunately that one was kind of an RPS. Caesar into Togekiss, Corsola into Diggersby, and that's a good game. But yeah, we see a lot of really respectable trainers along these battles. So I wanted to showcase these just to show that this team is powerful enough to deal with these very, very competent trainers. We see Corviknight in the lead in the next match. We catch an Air Cutter, very predictable instant throw by my opponent there. We catch the Air Cutter, bring in Blastoise. We are actually able to outpace this Blastoise to the Skull Bash, and they shield the first. I am totally fine by that. I kind of just want to like put all my resources on Scizor because this is how Scizor really works. I threatened to get to a second Skull Bash, and my opponent throws a Hydro just to deny that energy. Again, totally fine by me. I bring in Scizor, my opponent brings in Corviknight, and once again, like clockwork, baby, we instantly catch the Air Cutter once again. Diggersby has a pretty good matchup into Corviknight here. Payback still hurts. It does a decent amount of damage, but we should be able to two-shot with the Fire Punches here thanks to those Bullet Punches we landed onto this Corviknight. I believe we landed 8 Bullet Punches total. So they full send the Payback, and I want to conserve some health, right? I want to conserve some health in case Diggersby is really useful in the back. They bring in Blastoise. Once again, I get that problem where I'm not allowed to switch right away. But we are able to throw the Trailblaze. We actually landed, and Blastoise is practically knocked out at this point. I don't think they're going to get to another move regardless of who farms him down. Shadow K-Wack comes in, and this thing has a lot of fast move pressure, so it gets rid of my Scizor, but we're able to force the last shield. At this point, I'm a little bit scared that Blastoise might have a move, so I intentionally cap tie here just to make sure I get rid of this K-Wack, and I still have a shield in play, right? I don't want to take more fast move pressure. So rollout shouldn't cut it. My opponent gets quick attack down, and if they had a move or not, I don't know. On to the next battle, Nihara, another really, really talented battler. Thankfully for us, we know how to play this Primate matchup. We know that we can just one shield farm this thing all the way down. I believe Nihara should be swapping out of here. Let's see. Yeah, they actually swap out. Okay, so they bring in a K-Wack. And this is a little bit scary for us. We don't have an exact answer to this. We can bring in Stoys and just force shields with the Hydros. They can't really survive a Hydro, but we can survive a Bone Club pretty comfortably. So we'll just play to that comp. I was a little bit nervous to play to the Captai here. My chat was telling me that the Captai is a little bit IV dependent. So Blastoise's and K-Wack's attack stats are a little bit too similar. So I'm just gonna let this go. I'm gonna bring in Diggersby here, and they have a Charizard in the back. Maybe they tried catching a Fire Punch. I'm not sure. Maybe they just try to bank a move. But this Charizard, as you can see, is extremely squishy and shouldn't be surviving the 2 Scorching Sands. And we actually make an insane catch on the Blast Burn. So we're able to catch the Blast Burn, just instantly get rid of this Charizard. I don't even want to take Air Cutter damage. I want to be as tanky as possible for all that energy K-Wack saved. So let's see what they decide to bring in here. Okay, they bring in the Primate. I'm a little bit scared because they're really close to 2 moves on that thing. But I think this might come down to a fast move beatdown. I instantly send the Scorching Sands because I recognize I need my HP if I want to quick attack down that ape. And here, my opponent actually throws energy, but they don't throw their second move. So I feel like maybe if they didn't throw this energy, we could have at least gotten a simul KO. But because they threw energy and I'm able to sneak a quick attack, we take that game. All right, Avalugg lead in the next game. That's an amazing lead. They bring in Gastrodon, and I don't really have an exact answer to this Pokemon. So I am going to force a shield and then dip into my Blastoise, I believe. Yeah, we actually throw one more Bullet Punch and defer the damage onto Blastoise. That's actually not like super consistent. So I don't think that was a great play by me, but we should be able to wall this since they usually run Water Pulse. Body Slam doesn't really do too much damage here, so we're kind of chilling. I'm gonna full send the Skull Bash here because I know a Hydro won't knock out. My opponent smartly shields that, so this game is definitely getting a little bit trickier than I'd like. We actually lag a turn mid-game there. So I'm sorry I just keep pointing out all the imperfections in this game, but man, is there a lot of them. This is looking a little bit tricky now, though. I'm thinking maybe if I come out with a lot of energy from this matchup, I can two-shot the Avalog with Fire Punch, but that doesn't really look like it's going to be possible. I was so confident in this play, but unfortunately, Avalog is insanely tanky. They have a Galarian Corsola in the back, so winning alignment was definitely crucial to win this game. But as you can see, unfortunately, this Corsola is going to put in just enough work into this Diggersby that we will not be able to get to the 3 Fire Punches we need to knock out that Avalug. So, yeah, GG's to my opponent there. I know I'm calling it a little bit early. I know I might have spoiled the game here. But we did a little bit of research afterwards. We realized that Scorching and Fire Punch do the exact same damage when Fire Punch is super effective and Scorching is neutral. So not really a point to go for Scorching here. Maybe try to get a debuff, but I mean, let's be real. Even a debuff wouldn't really save us from this nightmarish Pokemon that is Avalug. GG's to my opponent for running really cool Spice picks there. But yeah, let's get on to the next battle here. Very, very slowly. Okay, here we go. All right, Pyro Panda GBL, another very, very talented battler. You can see we actually already ranked up. We're at 2560 elo. Pyro Panda is going to play the Scizor matchup in a way that I don't particularly like. You go for the Trailblaze and you get the farm down of Scizor, but you still have to go down 2 shields. And if I bring something into the Scizor that just completely walls the energy, I mean, you're cooked. That energy was for nothing. You win switch, but at what cost, right? I get an energy lead with a backline Pokemon. So yeah, Pyro Panda gets switch advantage here. I will bring in my Blastoise and just shield the Trailblaze because I mean this thing would probably one-shot us. But getting an energy lead with Blastoise here is really, really good, right? They have a Galarian Corsola, so I'm just gonna over farm here and bring in my Diggersby, right? There should be something in the back that Blastoise can't put in work against, and lo and behold, this is a Dunsparce, so we should be chilling here. Rollout is resisted by Diggersby. Drill Run, while it's an insanely good move, Dunsparce doesn't really have a great attack stat, so as you can see, we can actually comfortably survive 3 Drill Runs from this Pokemon, which is absolutely insane. I mean, Diggersby should not be a Pokemon in Pokemon Go. But yeah, at this point, we can just fully farm this Dunsparce down, tank both of these Drill Runs that they're going to get to. And whatever Corsola throws at us, we should be able to survive. I was a little bit worried. If my opponent throws a Power Gem, we actually get knocked out with all of this energy here. But unfortunately, I don't know why, but Pyro Panda actually throws a Nightshade, which is very, very resistant. And it does a lot less damage than Power Gem. So we're able to survive that move, throw the Scorchings, and we just have to back-to-back Hydro Cannons for this Corsola. This should be enough to knock out, and we're able to take this game. Once again, fighting really, really talented battlers here. But up in the 2560 elo, we are actually able to still take wins. So very, very decent win for us there. On to the next battle, we got Teddy Bear XD. I don't really know if this is a popular battler or not, but we will still take it. Galarian Corsola lead, definitely not great. I'm going to do 2 Bullet Punches and swap. That way I don't take the second Astonished. And my opponent brings in Cradily. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'm just going to bait the Ice Beam. If they don't shield, then so be it. I'm just going to keep over farming. I don't really need this energy on Blastoise. To be fair, I mean, I would still need 2 Hydros. So I'm just going to bring in Scizor, play to the Captai, make sure that if they want to bring me down a shield, they have to go down a shield as well. And surprisingly, my opponent does want me to go down a shield here. Usually in this matchup, you kind of just let Cradily go. You don't want this Scizor to come out with more and more energy, but they actually allow us that. So we bring in Corsola, we bring in Diggersby, they have the Corsola, and they have a Ufisk in the back, and unfortunately that is going to be a GG for my opponent. I don't really need Scizor at all anymore. Diggersby can just clean up shop here, so yeah, unfortunately an alignment for my opponent. All right, on to the next battle. We see Zemi Kid, another amazingly talented battler. We see Ufisk in the lead, and this is really, really tricky for me. I don't really love this lead, but we know how to play this lead. We've played this lead for seasons already. We know that we can survive a discharge. A lot of people don't know that we can survive a discharge. Surprisingly, once again, Zemi Kid going for discharge instead of Mud Bomb. You can see right there, I try to swap into my Diggersby and the game doesn't allow me. So I'm forced to stay in. They bring in Firo, and this game is getting a little bit out of hand. Just being down shields doesn't really do it for me. I catch the fly the drill peck on the Blastoise because I want to preserve Caesar if I can. But unfortunately, this Firo is just going to be able to take us fully out here. So I think I'm going to bring in my Caesar here, just neutralize this Firo. But that might have not been the play. Maybe just getting a lot of energy with Diggersby would have been a better play. Because yeah, we have to simul KO here. We bring in Diggersby. My opponent has Murkrow in the back, and unfortunately, that's just going to be a good game. I don't know if the game would have gone any differently. I believe it would have gone pretty well for me if I was able to swap into my into my Diggersby on the Ufisk there and actually make that catch. Just because my Blastoise has kind of free reign on the back line if I have up a shield. We have like so much fast food pressure with rollout. But unfortunately, we do lose that game, and that is the final game of the video. I know this video was a little bit shorter than usual, but we did try another team, so stay tuned for tomorrow's team. We are running Shadow Talonflame in the lead, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You guys should let me know in the comments if you enjoy the new layout of these videos. I kind of changed it a little bit, not too much difference, but you can see like we got the appraisal sticker for the IVs. We changed a little bit of the typings there and all. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, I feel like Shadow Caesar is just an insanely powerful Pokemon this season, and it'll definitely get you some elo if you play it correctly. Caesar lead ground backline is just insanely powerful, so feel free to try that out. Once again, check out the link in the description below. We have a Linktree link, so if you click that link, you will be routed to all of my socials, and you can follow me all on there. There's also a link to join our Discord channel, so feel free to join that as well. We stream on Twitch every single day, so if you're interested in seeing these battles live, feel free to go check those out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.